What's going on, everybody? I got my first order in from Second Sight Films. I've never ordered from them before, but they have beautiful box sets, and I found a couple titles that I wanted to pick up, so I figured I'd do a quick unboxing and show you guys what I got. Alright, so this is good. The first two films I have in here, I only got three things, but the first two I have seen, and the last one I have not seen. So I'm gonna get the bubble wrap off here. I'll show you the first two, which I have seen. First up, I got Green Room. Green Room is from 2015, directed by Jeremy Saulnier, who also did Blue Ruin and some episodes of True Detective Season 3. So Green Room stars Anton Yelchin, the late Anton Yelchin, Imogen Poots, Patrick Stewart, and many others. And basically the setup for this movie is awesome. So Anton is a member of this punk band that takes a gig at this remote bar venue that happens to be owned and operated by Patrick Stewart and his kind of gang of Nazis doing all sorts of criminal activity. Basically, so Anton and his band witness a crime, and the crime is such that the band knows that they're not getting out of this without Patrick Stewart and the Nazis, killing them, basically. Green Room is awesome. Really excited to watch this one again. And I'm just gonna open it up real quick and kind of see what's going on in here, because I have never ordered from Second Sight before. I'm excited to see what's inside. Let's see, so it has one of these kind of J card things on here. I don't know, what do you guys do with these? I kind of just throw them in a box. This one's pretty flimsy though. The ones that come with the Arrow Video titles are kind of like more hard cardboard. This one's definitely just kind of like papery. But anyways, yeah, it's got the super nice solid hard cardboard box. The artwork on this is great too. I love the artwork on these. See if I can focus. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. Focus back up here. So it looks like we got, let's open it up. Oh, there's paper on this. Oh, it's like some art cards here. Some pretty cool art cards here. Anton, and then Patrick Stewart, and then cool shot from the band. I don't know, these will probably just go right back in the box. I'm not gonna like hang these up or anything. I forget that actress's name, but she's from Arrested Development, I think. She's pretty cool too. The last one there. So those are cool, but yeah. Set those aside. And then it looks like we got a booklet, maybe some essays in here. Punksploitation, positioning Green Room amidst the cultural legacy of punksploitation. I don't know, that looks cool. I don't typically read the books that come with these, but maybe I will. I really like this movie, so maybe I'll try reading this one. Now the discs, we got two here. I'm sure like one is the film and one is probably special features. Cool thing about 4K is they're not region locked, so even though these have, the little 18 symbol that's, from England, they'll work in any 4K player. So yeah, that's Green Room. The look at the box there. So the other title I picked up that I have seen before, what I think is probably one of the best, if not the best horror movie to come out in the last 10-15 years, is It Follows from 2014. So It Follows stars Micah Monroe, who also recently starred in Long Legs. And then also one that I think is kind of underrated and underseen from 2022 was Watcher. I think that was on Hulu. I'm not sure. I'll put a graphic in to say what it's streaming on. Basically, It Follows, the back of this reads, a young woman is followed by a terrifying supernatural force after a sexual encounter with her new boyfriend. I don't know if that's totally accurate. I don't know if that guy was actually her boyfriend or not. So Micah's character sleeps with this guy and contracts what I like to refer to as a STD, sexually transmitted demon. I don't know if it's actually supposed to be a demon.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I don't really need to say anything else about this movie. Everybody loves this movie. Everybody knows this movie. So yeah, I'm just going to open it up and see what's inside. Alright, so yep, again, got another one of these J cards. Again, very papery. And again, yes, the nice solid hard box. This is beautiful though, man. I love this. The presentation on these Second Sight Films box set is like incredible. And again, it looks like we have more art cards. Get this tape off here. Now let's see, so we got Jay, and then her in the wheelchair as the dude's wheeling around, kind of explaining to her what's going on, that he gave her a STD, sexually transmitted demon. And we got the car where they're hooking up in. And then the house. I think this is where she finally finds the date when she's trying to get more information about this entity. And we got girl from the opening scene. And then another shot of Micah. Oh, I think this is from towards the end of the movie. Don't want to spoil that, but yeah. Okay, there's the art cards. And then we got a nice hardcover book here.
Dang! What's up with all these books?
See, I'm sure this is just another good bit of information about the movie. Now, this being one of my actual favorite horror movies of the last 10-15 years, I probably actually will read this one. And then again, kind of I guess these are called like digibook kind of things, or at least that's what people call the Criterions. But yeah, again, 2 discs. It's been a little while since I've watched this movie again, so I'll be watching this again soon, especially since it's on 4K. Oh yeah, and one other thing I didn't mention about It Follows is if you haven't seen It Follows, but you saw Smile or Smile 2, and you like those movies basically ripped off the premise for this movie, so definitely watch It Follows if you haven't seen it yet. And the last one I picked up, something I've never seen before, and that is George Romero's Martin from 1977. So the back reads, a troubled young man who believes himself to be a vampire goes to live with his elderly and religious cousin in a small Pennsylvania town where he tries to redeem his blood-craving urges after he falls for a lonely housewife. All the while, his hostile cousin becomes convinced that the young man is actually Nosferatu. So in the trailer, it kind of looks like you don't really know if Martin is actually a vampire or not. There's a lot of shots in the trailer of him drugging people, and it almost kind of looked like a mockumentary, the trailer that I watched, where he was kind of talking directly to the camera. So the trailer kind of reminded me a little bit of a movie that came out a few years ago that I saw in theaters, Bones and all. I haven't watched that since it was in theaters, but yeah, it's just kind of a very unique take on the vampire film, and I don't know if it's actually even supposed to be vampires in Bones and all, but basically in that movie they are people who live a very long time and they eat people to survive. So they're kind of like vampires, but not really. I don't know. It's kind of like teetering on the edge of that. So yeah, let's open this up and see what's inside. Another J card. Again, flimsy paper. And again, yeah, the presentation on here is just awesome. Like, very hard, solid cardboard case for this. I do kind of wish these came with the regular, kind of like the Arrow video ones, with the regular Blu-ray case rather than these like digibooks or whatever I guess you call them. But yeah, I mean, these are still very, very nice. So anyways, I'm gonna watch this and then come back and give a quick review. Alright, so it's been about a week since I filmed the first part of this video. I actually watched Martin that night when I filmed that, so it's been about a week. I've had some time to think about it and really kind of just marinate on the movie. Overall, I really liked it. I definitely think it's one of George Romero's most unique movies that I've seen so far. And I think the one strength it really has is basically the entire time you're watching the movie, you're not really sure if Martin is actually a vampire or not. So if Martin is a vampire, the typical vampire rules don't really apply in this movie. He can walk outside in the daylight, he can eat garlic, and he really doesn't have any supernatural powers. Martin claims to be in his 80s, but he only appears to be in like maybe his 20s or so. Really, the only thing we know for sure that he has in common with vampires is he drinks blood. So a lot of the backstory is implied, but we do get a scene with Martin's elderly cousin who he goes and moves in with at the beginning of the movie. And he's flipping through these old photo albums, and he's kind of explaining to another family member like that this they treat vampirism like it's like a curse. Like Martin is not the first one in the family to have this curse. I guess I think there's maybe one or two other ones. But yeah, so members of his family at least believe him to be a vampire. His cousin even refers to him as Nosferatu, and he puts this ring of garlic on his door when he moves in. So it's like his cousin almost treats it more like it's a nuisance than like, oh my god, we need to like kill this thing. And that's really what I think makes this movie so unique. Just the way that it makes you think and perceive, like, is Martin a vampire? Is he not? Is he really just like a mentally unstable person who believes he needs to drink blood to live? And is it his family that instilled this in him? Has he always been like this, or was he taught to be like this? And I think that might be where some of George Romero's classic social commentary comes in here. Like, are you the person? Would you be the person that you are today without the things that your family tells you? I think that's kind of what the film is trying to say. I almost hesitate to call this a horror film too, because there's really only a couple of scenes that are even attempting to be tense or scary. For the most part, even Martin is kind of like a soft-spoken character. He shows remorse for his victims. We get these scenes where he's on the phone calling into this radio show, and the radio DJ is kind of just laughing him off as he's confessing to these crimes and telling the listeners of the radio show, like, I am a vampire, and the radio host is just kind of laughing him off, and they let him keep calling in. Now, the few tense, scary moments that we get in the film were actually pretty disturbing to me. Martin, because he doesn't have supernatural powers that a typical vampire would have to seduce his victims, basically he has to use he uses a needle with some sort of like sedative. You don't really get too much information on that, but basically he tranquilizes his victims, and the tranquilizer it takes a few minutes to work. So there are some really unique scenes where you get Martin, and the movie actually starts off with one of these scenes. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, because it's very visceral. It feels real. He's talking to his victims as they are kind of like passing out. There's even a few times where his female victims are in the middle of passing out, and he's saying, "Don't worry, you're gonna wake up. You're gonna be fine." And I found it to be pretty disturbing. And for me, there's just something about Martin using needles and razor blades as opposed to vampires using their fangs. I just found the use of needles and razor blades to be disturbing. Alright, now I'm going to get into a spoiler for my favorite scene in the movie right now, so I'll put a little sticker up on the video so you know when the sticker comes down you can come back, but for the next couple minutes I just want to talk about my favorite scene in the movie. So spoilers, skip ahead if you haven't seen the movie yet. Okay, so one of my favorite scenes in the movie is one of the attack scenes where Martin sneaks into this woman's home that he had seen before, and he thinks she's alone. So Martin sneaks into her house, he's outside her bedroom door, he has his needle ready, he opens the door, he walks in, and there's another man in bed with her. The woman's naked, and they had just been doing what you think they've been doing. Now this presents an interesting scenario because Martin only has one needle ready. He wasn't expecting this man to be in bed with the woman that he wanted to be his victim, and the man and woman obviously did not expect Martin to come in and catch them in the act. So Martin jumps over the bed, he stabs the man with the needle, tranquilizes him, but again, this is a bigger guy, so it takes a while for the tranquilizer to kick in for him, especially I think because he's a bigger guy. But so Martin hits him with the needle, and he kind of retreats back, and he kind of like scurries back into another part of the house, and the woman and the man are kind of talking, and they're trying to figure out, like, they're obviously freaking out, but they're also trying to figure out, like, what do we do? This guy's attacking us, but this man is not supposed to be here. I think the woman is, maybe she's married or she has a boyfriend. I think she's supposed to be married, and her husband had just left. So they're talking to each other, and they're like, what do we do? Do we call the cops? Do we call for help? What do we do? What do we do? I think it's supposed to be funny, and it was kind of funny, but at the same time, it was just like it's a scene that you would not see, or I've never seen a scene like this, like, in another horror movie. They can't call the cops. They can't call the woman's husband for help. And the man he's slowly kind of, slowing down and obviously being sedated. And this whole time, the couple is trying to figure out what to do. Martin is getting another needle ready, and he's getting ready to, make the kill. So Martin eventually takes out the other guy. He hits him with another needle, and he takes him out back. I think he just takes him out back, and he kills him and drinks his blood. Now this is where you find out what he actually does with his female victims. So he sedates them, and then he has sex with them, and this is very, very dark. It's just interesting because Martin, like I said, he's just a very soft-spoken, remorseful guy, or he seems to be, and then you find out that this is what he's actually doing to his victims. It might have been more clear to other people when they're first watching this that that's what he does to the woman in the beginning, because he does get naked with her before, and he kind of like lays her body on him as he's like drinking her blood. But to me, I didn't really catch on that that's maybe what he was doing until this attack, where he actually confesses. He talks about it. He says it's his sexy time, I think is what he refers to it as. And that's just another layer of this movie that, otherwise is pretty tame. There's not a lot of violence, but the violence that does happen in this is very visceral. It feels real, and it's up. Alright, so there you have it, folks. I don't want to spoil the rest of the movie if you guys haven't seen it, but I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was one of the most unique vampire movies I've seen in a long time. I also went to the theaters a while back and saw Bones and All, which kind of like has a similar vibe to this movie, I thought, and I definitely think this is one of George Romero's most unique movies that I've seen. If you're a collector, yeah, I think this box set is really cool. I'll just show it off again here. It's the Second Sight box set. It's got a really cool hardcover cardboard box with some really cool artwork. It's available on Second Sight's website, is where I ordered it from, and I did a quick Google search, and it's also available for free to stream on Tubi. So yeah, just let me know. Have you seen Martin? What do you think of it? And also, are you collectors of Second Sight? This was my first haul from Second Sight, and I really like the catalog that they have so far. There's not a ton of movies on there. It's not like Criterion Collection or like Scream Factory or Arrow, where it's just there's so much stuff that you don't know where to dive in. I think Second Sight has a really cool catalog of newer movies, and a lot of them I'm interested in, so I'm sure I'll be ordering more soon. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.